How did the two of you meet?
Many years ago, In fact, we met during our residency. I was the senior resident and she was the junior one.
Yeah, I met him when I started my residency. They were all men. I was the only woman, and he was my oldest resident. And I remember that 2 or 3 weeks after we met, he was asking me just to change one day of being on call.
Yeah,
but since then,
good to share.
to now, we have been loyal, and we really have had a long story in our lives. Really like that. Yeah.
Which was your first WSRM or ISRM meeting?
I think my first one was in Okinawa. Was it in Okinawa?
No.
Düsseldorf.
No, you first. It was in Heidelberg.
Heidelberg.
But you still.
Yeah.
I was just my first or second year as attending sergeant, and you were finishing the training.
We went by car from Barcelona
to Heidelberg.
And I remember that for me the most memorable was I was impressed by the scenery where all the talks, because I was very junior at the time, and it was, wow, this is amazing. I didn't get to know nobody at the time. I was very impressed by that, but especially by the party. The party in the castle.
Congress.
I think it has been one of the best parties I have ever attended. That was amazing.
The funny story, I fully agree with it. It was two things, First, because I think it was the second WSRM Congress, because the first was in Taiwan. And at that time I couldn't go because I was still in training and no money, very long flight. But Heidelberg, we took the car and we were there. And then obviously the program was fantastic, talking with all the pioneers. But the weather was fantastic in Heidelberg, and it was extremely hot. And do you know that in Germany, they don't have air conditioning, at least at that time. And I remember just before to go to this, Congress dinner, we were inside of a bus with no air conditioner, with 50 or 60 Japanese people wearing, suit. It was like a big sauna. And I said to Gemma, wow, this is going to be a disaster. But when we arrived to the place, it was a fantastic, fabulous palace with different bands. We spent all night dancing. It was great, the best.
How has WSRM changed during your involvement in the organization?
I think there have been many changes, After Heidelberg, that it was something very good. For some reasons, the quality of the organization in the next meeting, it was going down. And then it was in general, it's what I felt, maybe I'm wrong, but, there was a kind of disappointing about the future of the society, the enthusiasm to create this whole society go a little bit slow down. But suddenly, probably in the last 6, the WSRM Congress has been going up again with a extremely high energy. And this is why we are here, 2,000 people, because it has been going up. And my feeling now is that all the people, Americans, Europeans, South Americans, Asian people, we believe that this is our home. WSRM society is our home.
Yeah, I think that one of the main changes is that we are just including young people. I think that you can realize here at the meeting how the young people is enthusiastic about that. And one of the changes we wanted just contribute with our meeting was just permit everybody to have a place at the meeting and just to give a presentation about any interesting topic that they could. And that is something that really, I think it's a good contribution, because normally at the meetings you always have the biggest stars, the masters, and the rest of the people just looking at there like, wow, they are like rock stars. I would like to be there. But here we wanted just to be like inclusive, just to welcome everybody. Everyone could have their minute of glory, and maybe we could just discover people with great contributions. And I think it's a really great part of that.
What do you think is the most important contribution and/or innovation of our specialty?
Oh, it's difficult to say just one. I think that for a long time, because I work in breast, I think free tissue transfer has really made a great progress. And nowadays, I think that lymphatic system surgery is something that maybe can really a great change in our specialty, and probably a progress if we are really able to just have a place in curing the Alzheimer or improving it.
Yeah, I think it's in all the super specialties or the different fields of microsurgery, there is the same kind of approach. We are moving to a less minimal invasive surgery. It means that we are going to have less anatomical damage, and we are moving for a more, functional in all the ways, morphological, sensitive. We are doing more precise and more specific reconstructions. And obviously, is what Gemma said, the most excitement now is what we can do in something that at the moment was outside of our specialty, was the brain. The brain disease probably is now something that, at least for me, is the most excitement.
Yeah, but it's true. I think that it's to be more respectful, more targeted surgery, and also prevention. I think that probably in the future, just to prevent, to detect risk, patients in risk of specific diseases, and just to try to treat them.
Who are your personal legends or giants in plastic surgery? And if you would also care to share why.
I think in life you have so many mentors and giants, I think I can say that in my life there are so many people, but a couple of them, they open my eyes. Because important is sometimes you don't need only one mentor, somebody that is, blinking, and say it. One was Martin Webster in 1997 when I was quite junior. I was there, and he showed me what was the perfecto flap surgery. Something at that moment not many people in the world even knew and heard. And then I say, wow, this is going to be the future. You can move a big piece of tissue without damaging any muscle, with no muscular dysfunction. That was definitely the guy who opened my eyes. Then I became obsessed. TCTO, I learned the passion for the perfect dissection. Then Isao Koshima, is a guy who very innovative, very generous. But even, I have never been, with him with Fu Changwei. But Fu Changwei told me something one day in one meeting, just taking a coffee, At that time, I was very young, very enthusiastic, very radical, microsurgeon, only microsurgeon. And I said, I don't like to be a cosmetic surgeon. He said, you are wrong. I said, wrong is Fu Changwei said that I'm wrong if I am saying that I don't want to be cosmetic surgeon. You need to learn from everybody, and you need to do the best microsurgery, but like a cosmetic surgeon. I remember this word, this sentence, and I said, wow, again, another giant opened my eyes. And that is the way.
It's difficult to say a giant. And I must say, okay, Jaume is my mentor. And it's true that we learn together, we grow up together, and I really feel a lot of respect for him. And yeah, sometimes we even fight, but it's a way to grow.
Nice.
And I don't know if I can say he's a giant, but he's just a person that I really love him. But also I think that Koshima, because his mind is out of the ordinary, and he's like in another dimension. And when you see how he's thinking, you say, okay, maybe this is never going to happen, but in this way there is something that is right. And I think that Koshima really has been a good contributor. And then because I went to visit Philippe Blondel, I went to visit Robert Allen, and also just they contributed to my activity about breast reconstruction, and really they give me some way of technique, surgical technique, but also some way of thinking. And as also Jaume said, TC, when you see him operating on, you see how delicate it is, how respectful, and that just gets in your mind.
What is your favorite operation?
but I could say lymphatic because now I am in lymphatics, but I always enjoy everything. It's to say when I was yesterday talking, I don't know who we, but I am in the OR and I am like an animal. I just go there and just fight without in an irrational way. I mean, I really enjoy. I don't eat. I don't go to the toilet until everything is done. It's just it's what we call passion, you know. And I really enjoy almost everything. When I wake up at the morning and say, okay, today I'm going to do that, and just like visualizing how my day is going to be, and it's just I really enjoy.
Yeah, I agree with Gemma. You know, is when you love surgery, any kind of surgery you like. You know? For me, probably what I like more is anatomical dissection, because any surgery nowadays start with, you know, anatomical dissection, and this is why we are completely obsessed. We are psychopaths, keeping any little structure just in case, protecting. Sometimes we spend, you know, some extra time that probably most of the people, they just cut it, just keeping a motor nerve, just to respect the anatomy. And this make, you know, that at the end, we can do whatever we want. This is amazing. Sometimes you say, wow, what we can do. And then we have a problem and you can take a little branch of everything and save a flap. And this is the essence. The essence is the respect and the love for the anatomy.
What is an operation you no longer perform?
I did so many head and neck surgery, but head and neck surgery, I love when you do this, you know, reconstruction planning, functional planning. But unfortunately, something that I really like, I like to follow my patients for a long time and see that we have done, it give so much, you know, to these patients. Unfortunately, in the moment, at least in the moment that I did head and neck, you know, beginning of 2000, the prognosis of most of these patients, they was very poor. And it was very frustrating that when you were reviewing the results 5 years later, more than half of your patients disappeared. And that, for me, it was hard. And this is why, you know, little by little, for many other reasons, but the good thing about breast cancer reconstruction is that you can follow patients for, at least me, 35 years. Still, the first DAP file that I did in 1998 is coming to me every 2 years, and it's so nice.
For me, I hardly raise the muscle flap, just in very desperate cases, because I think that it's not a benefit for the patient. And when I operate the patient, I do like if I were myself, and I think that there are very better techniques, especially for breast reconstruction. I feel pain when I have to cut the muscle and it just starts contracting. So, but even when I do breast implant reconstruction, we never raise the pectoral major. So,
what has been the greatest joy of your professional career?
Okay, I think that in general, I had the capacity or the ability to change the life of patients. I think that is something that it really, the benefit that you get from that is unique. And this is one of the best things that we have in our profession. You cannot say that it makes your ego to be bigger, but if it's ego, I want that ego. And just I think that it's really. Then on the other hand, we are fortunate to educate and to teach new people, and it's also when you see them that you teach them and they respect you and they do that, and I think it's also, and they become better than you, something also very beneficial. And also in my career and in a personal point of view, when just we got the recognition of a best paper at Europe's for the immediate lymphatic reconstruction. Also, after working for a long time, I thought that also we were very happy of that.
Yeah, I think it's the same, you know, is what you do making a reconstruction of a breast, what means for the patient, you know. Normally the patients, they arrive during or after the breast cancer, they are completely down. You see the face, they are sad. They open even the door of the office, you know, in a very unsafe position. And you see the patients 1 year later, they smile, they move fast. You see they are happy. This is the very rewarding. The other thing is what Gemma said. It's very nice to encourage young people, especially from developing countries that they don't have the opportunities where they say, oh, I cannot do that. And then you make these people more confident. And then you see 5 years later that they are monsters. They are doing a great job. And they try to do the same. And this is the magic way of the education.
Yeah. I also must say that there are many women who approach to me. And some days I just met some Macedonian girls. I said, oh, how I can become a microsurgical woman. and for me, it was also very, very nice that they asked that to me, because that is that they might think that I am a reference for them. And that is also very nice.
What would you have become if not a plastic surgeon?
I would have done something creative. I really like to do, I like creativity. And also I thought, when I just deciding, I also thought about architecture. I thought that architecture was also, could be also a very nice profession about creating something from nothing, and something that so people could enjoy also.
To be honest, I wanted to be, fashion designer. But I was born in a little, farming town. And when I said to my father that I wanted to be, fashion designer, he said, can you choose something more conventional? Because then he said, obviously, I like medicine. And then when I discovered, plastic surgery from this, capacity to create, to innovate, I said, wow, finally I can do something that I wanted to be. And that is what I wanted to be. And this is why I like to follow all the magazines, or go to see the shops. Because for me, all this, beauty, creativity, and fashion is something that is attracting me a lot.
He's a tailor, body tailor.